A plan to create a mandatory paid family and medical leave program in Maine has passed out of a legislative committee. Yesterday's 8-5 vote was on straight party lines. The bill was revised to address concerns raised during a public hearing last week. Under the amended language, the bill would impose a payroll tax of between 0.7 to 1% of wages, split evenly between employer and employee. Many businesses have warned a mandate could be costly. Governor Mills has yet to offer her support for the proposal. With few Republicans likely to support the bill, a veto by Mills could doom the plan. The program would replace up to 90% of wages for a maximum of 12 weeks of leave for reasons that include caring for a new baby or a family member with a medical condition. The Department of Labor estimates the startup cost to be $12 million. The bill now faces votes in the Senate.